From Arizona, Dr. Gosar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Gruber, in your testimony you stated, "I'm not a political advisor nor a politician." I like that statement. I'm a dentist by trade, impersonating politicians, so I want to commend you on that. But there's something very similar about you and me, is you're very astute to detail like me, right?
I like to think I pay attention to detail, yes.
Yeah, because the beauty is in the detail, right?
Often that is the case.
Yeah. So did you lie about any of your comments when you publicly were, some of the aspects that we saw on television? Were those outright lies, or were they just not politically pleasant?
They were not lies.
They were not lies. So they were truthful in regards to a stalwart evaluation of a process, right?
They were, once again, my inexcusably trying to conjecture about a process about which—
No, but I want to go back to this. You weren't lying. You were very truthful about the process.
I was, once again, trying to
it may not be politically savvy or, like as we say, red meat, but what you were doing was you were very honest in regards to the process.
Once again, I was making statements about which I really didn't have the expertise to make. I was just speaking out of turn.
I don't know about expertise. Let's go down that. We just talked about beauty is in the detail. You're very astute about the economic aspects. You had your inclinations and models with Obamacare. You've actually had these models with Obamacare. So you're very astute in regards to this. I mean, being from MIT, that's one of the most prestigious acclaimed environments in the world, right?
I believe so, yes.
And when you're proud of a product, you really are vested in that product. So you're going to be very watchful as it takes place, as it changes, as it morphs, and maybe as it has contradictions, right?
I was very proud and invested in the modeling and the numbers I produced, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to it. So you were very honest in your evaluation of what transpired. We saw the real Jonathan Gruber in there. I watched you last night for almost 4 hours on all the different aspects. I read body language extremely well. So you were in your element when you were talking about the critiques of this health care law. Let me ask you something. So who helped you with your testimony today, and who signed off on your testimony today?
No one signed off on my testimony. It's my own testimony. I did receive assistance from my counsel.
Did you also have assistance from HHS, the administration, the minority staff committee?
No, I did not.
Okay. Now, were you coached in any way what to say?
The words that are written, I said, are my own. As I said, I did work with my counsel in preparing them.
Okay. So when we had numbers of my colleagues asking you in regards to numbers, you're pretty astute with numbers, right? You know those numbers.
Once again, the numbers that I produced in terms of my microsimulation modeling, I'm very confident in.
Ms. Tavener, you're also pretty good with numbers, aren't you? I've been watching the bantering back and forth, and when the other side asks you a question, you're very prepared with numbers. But when we ask you a question, you're very inappropriately responsible to numbers. But you're very good with numbers because you hear them all day long, do you not?
I do hear numbers.
You do. I agree. I agree. So, this preponderance of looking at the falling rate of dollars being spent in health care, I'm going to go back to the microcosm called dentistry. Did anybody even think about this? What kind of access? The gentlelady from New Mexico talked about access. Did that ever come into your aspect that the deductibles are so high in the dental aspect that no one's using them? Did that ever occur to you?
If you look at what we did around the dental proposed and final rule last year, we actually tried to make some accommodation there to handle the deductible to improve it, if you will.
Well, that's nice. Changing around some of those aspects. But, from my standpoint, when people don't actually get care, you're actually creating a bigger problem. Okay? The gentleman from Maryland is aware of the Damani driver aspect. When people can't pay for it, it reduces access. Children go walking around without getting health care, and all of a sudden we have a child that dies. You're aware of that situation?
Yes, I'm aware of the situation that occurred.
So once again, it becomes that fluff part because I heard people on the other side over here saying this was the most transparent process. Really? It didn't involve anybody on this side, and I'm very well aware of having a bipartisan type of application to health care, because health care is a personal sport. The patient has to be involved, and it's not a Republican or Democratic issue, but it became a very Democratic issue. They used reconciliation and a lot of gimmicks to pass it. We were deceitful in everything that we've done. I mean, everything. Instead of acknowledging the problems and being truthful on it, we hear tortured language, from the gentleman to your left. This was outright the wrong way to go. From that standpoint, it sickens me to actually hear what I heard today from both you and from Mr. Gruber. It's sad, that we're playing with people's health care when they deserve something better. And frankly, not having the facts is disdainful. Congress has a right to those facts. We've seen this perpetually with this administration, from Fast and Furious to Benghazi to here to the IRS. It's disdainful. Equal branch of